Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Music Matters. I'm MonkeyBoy.
And I'm Ziggy.
And we've got a fun one today.
We do.
Today we are going to talk about music conspiracies. And little things that, we always wonder, could it be? Really?
Right.
Or is it just bunk?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? We're going to do the guitarist Rick Derringer recently passed away. So we're going to do kind of a combo thing, Rick Derringer and Cyndi Lauper, because he worked with Cyndi Lauper.
Yep.
Let's see, we're going to talk about heavy music coming up.
In a couple
Phil
episodes.
Collins.
Yep. Phil Collins in another episode.
Bryan Adams. I
Yep.
think we're gonna kind of look at their massive careers.
Huge careers.
Yeah, and so those are just some fun things coming up. I did want to say that this podcast is about music.
Yes, it is.
Only.
Absolutely.
And we talk about all things music. We talk about all kinds of genres, just everything having to do with music, concerts, what's not. But it's a different world now.
It is.
And the great thing is we always have this great escape that most of us love called music.
Absolutely.
It'll get you through. It'll help you party. It'll help you get you through a tough time. It'll help you celebrate love in your life.
Mellow you out.
I mean, it'll mellow you out. It's just great. And so that's why we do this podcast, just to talk about music, doing interesting things, maybe things Andy didn't know, maybe things I didn't know. Maybe you don't know. We just get together once a week and enjoy each other's company
and shoot the shit.
And shoot the music shit.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do again today. I think it would be nice also to dedicate this week's show to one of our good friends and colleagues who passed away, Mark Hahn.
Yes, Mark Hahn, yes. We worked with him. He was on KG95.
Yep, for years and years.
With our friend Rita, and then he moved over to a different company, working for PAL Broadcasting, doing sales over there as well.
He also did a talk show.
He did Drive Time Live.
Yep.
One of my favorite things. Just great radio voice, absolutely great person. A lot of great memories with him. So absolutely. We'll dedicate this one to him.
I have a good Mark Hahn story. To this is funny, in a behind the scenes type of thing that you don't usually get when you're talking about radio. Hahn was doing a call-in thing where you asking a question and getting answers from the listeners, and he had in the studio we have this thing called a telos, which records phone calls. And then, you can set it up to where you have this phone call ready to go when you go on the air. So he had a phone call lined up, but Hahn, literally any time somebody called in, would record them. He recorded everybody. He recorded every phone call that came in. And this phone call that came in right before he went on the air was from Rob Powers.
Oh.
And he's the boss at the time. Well, apparently Mark Hahn said something or did something on the air that Rob did not like.
Oh.
And Rob called up and he's like, "Hey, I don't mean to be a fucking dick, but blah 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 blah." He gets done, with the phone call, and Hahn forgot to that he recorded it.
Oh.
And he forgot that it was lined up next.
Oh.
And he went on the air and he's like, "Hey, KG95, let's go to the phones." Rob, "Hey, I don't mean to be a fucking dick."
Oh, boy, one of those.
Now, here's the funny part. Hahn, his face went, he was a consummate professional. This guy was Mr. Serious when it came to everything on the radio. He was just very, very professional. And his face went white and then complete red. I think I watched all the blood drain from his head and then slowly come back to it. And the funny part is, instead of pushing stop, he pushed play again.
Oh, boy. Well, we've all had those moments in radio.
Oh,
yeah, that's hilarious.
I remember him saying to me, Well, it's been fun, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you say in that moment? Yeah.
He's like, I thought he was fired. And he didn't get fired. He got suspended for a week. But that was... funniest thing I ever seen in a student. Oh my! We both laughed really hard afterwards. I mean, we were just oops.
Well, what can you say?
Right?
I mean, it's there, it's out there, and
it was funny. Yeah. It was one of those moments where I found it just hilarious, and it was fun to see Han, who's always so together, so kind of stressed for a second and go, oh crap. Because he was never really shocked by much. Like he was very just serious and very monotone kind of guy. He didn't get too wild.
No, he was pretty level-headed.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah. So it was funny to see him.
Well, good memories. Another one.
Yeah, another one gone. Yeah.
Well, let's look at the charts, huh?
All right.
We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So some things I'm sure have changed. Do you want to start?
Yeah, let's do the iTunes Top 100 hip-hop.
Okay.
Well, we're not going to do Top 100. We're going to do the Top 10.
Gotcha.
Soul Survivor featuring Akon by Jeezy is at number 10. Welcome to the Kata by Lil Wayne at number 9. Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz Cotton Candy at number 8. Lil Wayne and Big X The Plug. Hip Hop featuring Jay Jones. Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Luther. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us at number 5. Bix The Plug and Bailey Zimmerman all the way at number 4. Glorilla, Typa, 3. Lil Wayne, Jelly Roll, and Big Sean, Sharks at number 2, and Doechii, Anxiety, is at number 1.
A lot of same artists.
A lot of the same artists, yep.
Got a lot of hits.
Yeah, we're gonna find that in the country chart coming up. But what do you got?
All right, I got the active rock charts at number 10. Disturbed hanging on there with I Will Not Break. Number 9 is Mammoth with The End. Have you heard that track?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's some good stuff right there. Chevelle, Rabbit Hole, Cowards Part 1. That song is awesome. I like that. 3 Days Grace, Apologies at number 7. Killswitch Engage coming at number 6. They're, I think we talked about this when they hit the top 10. I don't think they've had a top 10 hit.
No.
So it's great to see that they're getting finally some success with I Believe. Great tune. Number 5 is Hardy and Jim Bob. Number 4, Evanescence with Afterlife. Number 3, Linkin Park, Up From the Bottom. Number 2, The Funeral Portrait with Holy Water. Number 1, Sleep Token with Emergence.
All right, that's good. Over to the country chart. We have Nate Smith, Fix What You Didn't Break at number 10. Josh Ross, Single Again at number 9. Sam Hunt, Country House at number 8. Corey Kent, This Heart at number 7. Ella Langley, Weren't for the Wind at number 6. Backseat Driver by Kane Brown at number 5. Megan Baroni, I Am Okay at number 4. Riley Green, Worst Way, number 3. Jason Aldean, Whiskey Drink at number 2. And Morgan Whalen, I'm the Problem. Now, I did share with you, I think it was last week, that Morgan Wallen had dropped his album with some 30-plus tracks on it, and he was the top 10, or wait, no, he was, what was it?
It was like 30. Like he had all of the songs were on the charts pretty much, except for one.
Yes. Yeah, except for one, all of the songs were on the chart. So that's a pretty that's
impressive.
Well, it's a historic thing.
Yeah,
it's a record-breaking thing. So
all right, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got the top 40, top 10 coming in at number 10. Billie Eilish with Wildflower. Number 9, Ed Sheeran with Azizam. I hope I don't know if I said that right or not. Azizam.
I don't know.
I don't know. Number 8, Lola Young and Messi. Number 7, Lady Gaga with Abracadabra. Number 6 is Benson Boone, Sorry I'm Here for Someone. Number 5, The Weeknd, Cry for Me. Number 4, Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Luther. Number 3, Alex Warren with Ordinary. Number 2, oh boy, Dochi?
Yep.
Anxiety.
Right.
Look at that, I got it right.
You did. Very good.
And number 1 is Tate McRae and Sports Car.
Yeah.
I am not familiar with very many of those.
I don't. You and I have talked about Tate McRae, but just go back and look and watch the videos.
Right. Yep.
And you'll continue to follow Tate McRae.
Yep. Lady Gaga. I've heard that one. The Billie Eilish song, I think I've heard. Kendrick Lamar and SZA, I think I've heard.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I'm gonna have to look up the other ones.
Yeah. I did want to point out that we have Canadian smoke rolling around the country.
Oh yeah.
Mostly down into the Midwest.
Right.
So
yeah.
I've been hampered by that.
Oh, it's been bad.
Weeks.
Yeah.
So if you hear me sniffling or
same
or whatever,
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's bad.
Not thick, but it's noticeable, and it is affecting a lot of people's allergies.
Well, that and it's our serious cocaine problem that we've got.
That is untrue.
No, it's the allergies.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, that's it's tough. Not fun. Anyway, so that's the charts.
That's
Do you have any others?
No.
All right.
There was something I told you to remember for our little session today.
I got it. Hang on. I got it. I got it. The Mike and the Mechanics deal.
Oh, yes. I just kind of, going back, I found this very interesting.
Is this week in 1986?
Yeah, this week in 1986. Mike and the Mechanics simultaneously charted on the Billboard Hot 100 Top 40 alongside Mike Rutherford's other band, Genesis, and bandmates Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, and then Steve Hackett's band, GTR. Mike and the Mechanics were in the top 5 with All I Need Is a Miracle.
Isn't that crazy?
So, that's all the former members of Genesis,
right? Yeah.
All on the charts at one time.
In separate entities.
Yeah. Let's see here. That week, Mike and the Mechanics were number 5. Phil Collins was 26.
With Take Me Home. I love that song.
Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
Yes, it's a great tune too. Great video too.
Mm-hmm. And When the Heart Rules the Mind by GTR.
I do not know that song.
Yes, you do.
Do I?
It was a video. A great band too.
I gotta look that one up. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyway.
Conspiracies.
I
thought we'd start off with one that I saw a documentary on. It's been about 5 years now that I saw this. It's called Paul is Dead. And it dealt with Paul McCartney dying in 1966.
So, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy.
Right.
I do believe as human beings we should question everything.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
did you see this documentary that I'm talking about?
I told you I was going to watch it, and I never did.
You never did. Okay.
But you know what? I got tonight, man.
Yeah. Okay. When you watch it, I don't think Paul is dead, but they make a excellent argument for why they think he's not, or why they think he is dead. So
album art,
lyrics, album art, other certain things like having a Paul lookalike contest right before,
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly having him show up in a picture on an album. Lots of interesting little things. But the Paul is Dead conspiracy theory claims Paul McCartney, a member of the Beatles, died in a car crash in 1966. The theory alleges the surviving Beatles and MI5, Britain's intelligence agency, replaced him with a look-alike. Proponents believe that the Beatles included hidden clues about McCartney's death in their songs and album art. Key aspects of Paul is Dead include, he died in a car accident. He was replaced by a look-alike named Billy Shears. The other Beatles, with MI5's help, covered up the truth to avoid public grief. They were really afraid that, if this is, to be believed, they were really afraid that the public was going to lose their minds. And I can understand that was the height of the, Beatlemania at the time.
Absolutely.
And they were the biggest thing in the world at that point. Like, they were huge. Alleged clues in Beatles recordings: "Turn Me On, Dead Man," Revolution 9. When played backwards, some fans heard this phrase repeated in the experimental track Revolution 9 on the White Album, "Turn Me On, Dead Man." "I Buried Paul" in Strawberry Fields Forever. Some believe that John Lennon muttered "I buried Paul" at the song's end. Lennon stated he was saying cranberry sauce. I don't know. It does sound more like "I buried Paul." "Paul is dead, man. Miss him, miss him. I'm so tired." That's a reversed message at the end of "I'm so tired" is believed to contain these words. In the album artwork, Abbey Road album cover, interpreted as a funeral procession, with each Beatle playing a role. John as the preacher, Ringo as the undertaker, George as the gravedigger, and Paul as the corpse. Paul is barefoot, which is said to symbolize death. The license plate, LMW 28 if, on the Volkswagen Beetle in the background was interpreted as 28 if Paul had lived, suggesting he would be 28, though he was 27, and Linda McCartney weeps. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover, a hand held over Paul's head, was interpreted as a symbol of death. The letter OPD on Paul's patch were believed to mean officially pronounced dead, though they were actually OPP for Ontario Provincial Police. Yesterday and Today album cover. The original cover featured the Beatles posed with raw meat and dismembered doll parts, which was interpreted as a symbol of McCartney's death.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. There was a lot of, why do they keep killing Paul? Or, putting, dead symbols around Paul in multiple albums. Why? And then nobody really has an answer for that. Let's see what else here. The rumor began circulating in 1966. It gained popularity in September 1969 after a student newspaper article and radio broadcast discussed the alleged clues. Life magazine published an interview with McCartney in November 1969, which helped quell the rumors. McCartney said initially found the theory amusing. He later titled his 1993 live album Paul is Live and parodied the conspiracy theory on the cover. Paul is Dead theory continues to fascinate people and is considered one of the most enduring music conspiracy theories. So there you go. The Paul is Dead theory is a hoax and has no basis in facts, is what it says.
Oh, how odd of conspiracies.
Right.
Okay. Well, Elvis Presley faked his death.
That's another one.
I say that with bated breath because we've heard that for years and years. But yeah, he faked his death to escape fame in 1977. Elvis would have been huge.
Yeah.
At this time.
And you got to wonder, he got into government stuff as well, so you got to wonder about that.
Well, several sightings after his death.
There were a lot of sightings. I mean, almost to the day, years, not too many years ago, right. There were still Elvis sightings.
But of course, those sightings have been widely debunked.
Yeah.
Okay. Stevie Wonder isn't blind.
What?
Stevie Wonder isn't blind.
No.
Yeah.
Who's saying that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who says it. You don't say it, I don't say it, because we
believe
we are level-headed. Okay, that's the word I was trying to look for.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, he's not blind. He's been faking it. The evidence includes observations of him at sporting events or seemingly interacting with objects as if he could see.
Well, maybe he's not, completely blind. Like he can see light and
Well,
shadows
he can play
and whatnot.
drums, but
Yeah.
that's a muscle memory thing to know where
Sure.
everything is.
Yeah.
And move your way around it, and obviously he's.
I've seen some blind
Piano
people do some pretty
player.
amazing things, though, too. So I don't know.
Okay. Now, I do believe this. Avril Lavigne replacement theory.
What?
Avril Lavigne replacement theory.
So, do they think they kidnapped her and replaced her with somebody else?
The theory suggests that she was replaced by a body double earlier in her career.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The original Avril was supposedly replaced by Melissa Vandella, who then left clues in her music about the switch.
Really? What are some? Do you have some of the clues?
No.
Oh.
But even if she was replaced, doesn't matter.
No, not really.
I mean, it's I don't know. That it seems kind of far-fetched.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, Avril Lavigne had complicated, and what else was it?
Oh God.
What were the other songs?
Skater Boy.
Yeah.
There was another one.
But, she was big and huge at the time. But I don't know if she disappeared, who needed to replace her.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it claims that the real Avril died in 2003. This theory linked to the Paul is dead theory as a similar example. But there's that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jim Morrison. Now, there's a new documentary out right now on this. And I'm actually looking... I might actually watch this tonight. Jim Morrison's death remains shrouded in controversy, fuels numerous conspiracy theories surrounding his death on July 3rd, 1971. While officially attributed to a heart failure, some sources cite claims of a heroin overdose and the inability to locate the doctor who signed the death certificate have fueled speculation. Several factors that contributed to the theory is conflicting accounts. Some individuals, like Marianne Faithfull, believed Morrison died of a heroin overdose. Others claim he was found unconscious in a club bathroom. The death certificate, signed by Max Vasile, is never confirmed to be a real person, and Morrison's American passport was never recovered, adding to the mystery. Morrison's alleged desire to fake his death as well is another big, wonder if he did type of thing. Some reports from the New Yorker state that Morrison had expressed a desire to fake his death to escape the rock star persona. There was fan sighting of Morrison in various locations after his death, coupled with the 27 Club phenomenon. Of course, that's where other musicians dying at the age of 27 further fuel the idea that the death might have been faked, or that there is more to it than met the eye. Despite these theories, the official cause of death remains heart failure, likely aggravated by heavy alcohol consumption. But it's interesting because, there's no death certificate, I want to say. And yeah, nobody really knows the official cause of death. I don't think there's a body either.
Well, I think that, as we talk about these conspiracies, these are people that were highly influential to...
For sure.
Individually. I mean, Jim Morrison even back in the big days of the Doors was already iconic.
Very.
He was, that was the time when people were tripping on stuff all the time.
Oh, all the time.
And, so I think that there's deep interest in that, in Elvis, who was big and huge.
Yep.
People that were, I think, a number of these people with the conspiracy theories were very private people. A lot of information didn't get out. Of course, we're talking that, social media wasn't around in the 1970s.
Right, way back then, no, yeah.
But your information, was maybe known by a little bit of the media or the newspaper or stuff. And it caused this big allure to some of these people. And you just kind of want to believe that they're not gone. I don't know.
I do have a funny conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift apparently doesn't have a belly button.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's some crazy ones. Tupac Shakur is alive.
Yes, I've heard that, and I've seen pictures that make me go, huh.
Well, there is an official autopsy that is done, corroborating, thank you.
Yep.
Corroborating accounts of his death. Some fans and media outlets say he faked his death in '96 and still alive. Theories include claims of staged deaths and escapes to Cuba and Malaysia, fueled by ongoing tabloid stories and sightings of the rapper. Kurt Cobain murdered.
Yeah. Did you see, is it Kurt and Courtney? Is that the name of the documentary?
No, but I know a little bit about this. That
it's very sus. Let's just put it, sus. It's very sus.
It is suspect, but
because one of the big things, the biggest problem I have with that whole thing is the amount of heroin that he had in his system. There is no way any human could have that big of a dose and still be able to pick up a gun, hold it up to your mouth and pull the trigger. It just is not possible.
Right. It was a fatal dose.
It was a fatal dose.
Of heroin.
It should have been a fatal dose.
And the experts, they've presented evidence that the scene in autopsy contradicts these stories. But, I mean, there again, we're talking about Nirvana hitting the scene. I was there. I lived it. You lived it. Nirvana was a big, huge thing. He was someone that just kind of instantly became
famous overnight.
Iconic, I guess. Yeah. Iconic even at the time.
And, there were a lot of questions about Courtney. And I remember hearing or seeing someone say that they were paid to kill Kurt from Courtney. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it is interesting. Like that Kurt and Courtney documentary is very interesting.
Yeah,
it'll make you wonder for sure.
I'm not sure why I haven't watched that yet.
I don't know. I don't know, honestly. After watching that, I really don't know. I just don't think Kurt killed himself like that, like with a gun. He might have killed himself with the heroin, but the gun, no, I don't think so. It just seemed, I don't know. The whole, with how much he was on, it just didn't seem like there's any possible way that he could pull that off. But what do I know? Some people can do some crazy stuff on drugs.
Okay. The Illuminati.
Are we talking Amy Winehouse?
No, the Illuminati.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's this It's African American music, especially hip hop. Fans of it believe that an Illuminati conspiracy is active in its production and marketing. The methods and motives of the conspiracy and its relation to the Bavarian order are matters of speculation that change with each telling. Some artists like Jay-Z, Katy Perry, Beyonce, Rihanna, Kanye West are believed to be agents of the conspiracy who live hints to their listeners through lyrics. Eyes of providence, hand signs, or other signals. Conspiracy literature involving the Illuminati has been cited in the lyrics of several hip-hop artists. Milton William Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse is one such work that both Nas and Public Enemy have made references to. Other such conspiracy books circulate in African American communities where both artists and listeners encounter them. Aside from this, the Illuminati are invoked to explain why some artists become rich and famous, some die suddenly, and others go unnoticed.
Yeah. I've heard the Illuminati, were involved in the death of Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington. Whether that's true, I don't know. There were rumors that, Chris knew a lot about the child. I want to say abduction, but it might be. It might not be abduction. It might be the child porn type stuff. It was one of those two, and he was gonna expose it. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been rumored out there, and Chester, kind of the same thing. He knew, and so, because they were really close friends, him and Chris Cornell were, and so, yeah,
it's very interesting.
It is.
Again, I think we should question everything in life.
Yep.
I just,
I think a lot of these.
I have to go, well, how much do I want to think about that?
Right. Yeah.
How...
Because it can take you down a rabbit hole.
Oh, well, I mean, I know a gentleman that has, for years, been down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, and my older son talks a little bit about them, and I know other people. I think it's a good thing to question, but how much time do you really want to look at it? Because,
right.
Some of them look ridiculous from the start.
Right.
Like the Taylor Swift belly button thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't invest any time into looking into that. Now, if you really want to get lost in a conspiracy thing, I think this is a good one. This Illuminati thing.
Yeah, that's a good one to look into.
Yeah, it's a good one to look into. But again, make sure you don't sink in the mud there.
Right.
And totally buy into it. Question everything you read, but it's an interesting thing. Did you have another one?
Kind of, let's see here. Where was it? I had it, and it went bye-bye.
I guess.
Yeah, it is.
It's mind how people's minds work, that they can just think up all this stuff. I mean, because I'm aware, we're all aware of some of them, and it's like, wow, if this is untrue.
Right.
Who thought this up?
Yeah,
because a lot of them are very detailed. A lot of conspiracy theories are very detailed.
Very.
It's like,
that's why it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Apparently, Pizzagate has music connections. The theory, conspiracy theory linked to the Pizzagate hoax, alleged connections between musicians and a supposed child trafficking ring. I think this is where the whole Chris Cornell thing was.
Okay.
Baseless claims stemming from leaked emails and online speculation is the evidence. The theory is entirely unfounded and has been debunked. So I think we can safely say that that's probably not what happened. With all these, it's important to remember that these are conspiracy theories, which are unverified explanations for events or circumstances that more often than not involve powerful or secretive groups. While fascinating to discuss, they should be approached with critical thinking and an awareness, and they often lack factual basis. So,
all right. Well, let's see here.
And I think they also, a lot of them revolve around death, and I think a lot of it is just people can't process death right.
Right.
And so they look for a reason as to why, especially like Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington and people that were taken way too soon. It's hard for us to accept somebody dying at 27,
Yeah, and there's, there's that whole theory. It's long, and I think most people are, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain,
right.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
All 27. And,
yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's people that I've mentioned before. I have a roommate, my friend Sky, doesn't care at all, zero care in the world about someone famous that dies.
Yeah.
Why are you sad about that? And I think that's come up on the podcast before, that we, some of us, apparently, not all of us, but some of us, we get tied into, I have great memories watching Robert De Niro movies.
Yeah.
I have great memories listening to Rush albums and Neil Peart's drumming. I loved listening to Van Halen.
Yes.
You get invested in
totally
in these people for their craft, for their art.
Yes.
You can also get invested in them on a more, what's the word I want to look for? Because you don't know them.
Right.
The human side of them, like Robin Williams.
Right.
When he passed away, that affected a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Betty White.
Yes.
Everyone loved Betty White. Those are people who you spend a lot of your life with.
Yeah.
And they up and die, and it's like, oh, I thought they were going to be there forever.
Right.
Like we think of our parents, and then
right.
suddenly
everybody,
boom, everybody goes.
Yep.
Not like Joni Ernst says, but
right.
Eventually it happens.
It does.
Okay. So, subliminal messages in music.
Now that's a great little thing, because there are subliminal messages in music.
Well, of course there are. I mean, wasn't that just the biggest thing in our life as teenage boys?
Oh my God!
Is the PMRC, who have a D. Snyder coming before
Congress
and good old Tipper Gore, and
I remember that so vividly because my dad was a Methodist minister. And so I was told about a lot of bands and my dad had no idea about. But I remember my dad coming up to me one time and saying, "Hey, I don't want you listening to that band, the Grateful Dead. They are devil worshippers."
Oh.
Because they have the Friend of the Devil song.
Yeah. So
they're the most peaceful band in the world.
Yes, it's get stoned and let's hang out. That's pretty much their vibe.
Peace, love, and understanding is what the Grateful Dead were about.
They had a political side to them, but yeah,
they were like.
I'm with you. I don't doubt that there's
Kiss, Knights in Satan's Service.
In music, I mean, you have all this time to sit in the studio and manipulate that stuff and have fun and whatever.
Right.
And maybe some of it is serious intended messages about the devil. And
Right.
And eat your children and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's intentional. I mean, they call that now. What do they call that? not cookies, but they're putting
Easter eggs.
Easter, that's what it is. It's Easter eggs, sliding into the DMs and all this stuff. Now it's the same. It's the same kind of thing. Just to get you in the 80s. If you're singing about the devil, well, I don't know that drew me to listening to the hard rock and metal of the time.
No, I don't think
I
that
just liked how loud and full of energy it was.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of that.
A lot of people thought that was what it was.
A lot of that was the.
My dad thought that was what it was.
The image of heavy metal at the time was it was dark and it was.
It was very devilish. It was very satanic.
But I think there's still subliminal messages in music, and I mean it is what it is. I mean these are all very interesting to look into, to check out.
I remember my dad thinking Kiss was standing for Knights in Satan's Service.
Oh, I mean, there's so many.
Do you remember
examples.
that? Yeah. And of course, it was hard to argue when they release, the album with "Unholy" on it.
Yeah, I mean, to hell with the devil.
Now that was a Christian band that came out with that. To hell with the devil. Stryper is a very Christian band. Even in their logo is Isaiah something. It's a Bible verse.
Yeah. But you had all that imagery. Motley Crue had a lot of that.
Oh, Motley Crue had a lot of satanic imagery.
Your Judas Priest of the time.
Yep, they had it. Yep.
The leather look was kind of.
They had the biker leather.
Type. I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of examples of it. But
AC/DC, Antichrist, Devil Cult.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. The religious people back in the 80s, I don't know why, and I guess it's true to the day a little bit too, that they just get so invested in what people say in the music, and usually they don't have any idea of what they're actually saying in the music. They just think they do. They interpret it wrong.
Always, I know, in listening to my parents tell me life stories, that there's always kind of been that, not censorship, but there's always been that need by, I think, the more conservative religious type of folks to wipe everything back in the day with some type of purity.
Yeah, to control everything.
Yeah, you just weren't singing about pure things at the time.
Right.
But they are theories.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories.
Almost all of them lack credible evidence.
Yep.
Misinterpretations is often what happens here. Speculation, human desire to find patterns and hidden meanings.
Yeah.
Like you said, to explain to me why Chester Bennington is gone, and
Chris
why,
Cornell
and Chris Cornell, and so they're entertaining.
Yep.
We've discussed that. Taylor Swift with no belly button. How does she do it? So they're entertaining to explore, but you have to, like we said, approach them with some critical thinking.
Yeah.
Critical thinking.
Yeah.
Skeptical. And skeptical, but they are fun and entertaining.
They are. Now, if you want to dive more into the Paul is Dead conspiracy, the name of the documentary, I believe, is Paul is Dead. Let me just double check it. Yeah, Paul McCartney Really Is Dead, The Last Testament of George Harrison. Explores the Paul is Dead urban legend. It's a conspiracy theory, of course, we talked about it, but Paul McCartney died in 1966. The film presents a fictitious narrative, including a supposed audio tape where a voice mimicking George Harrison reveals the details of the supposed cover-up, complete with clues hidden in album art and songs. It's very entertaining. And apparently the George Harrison thing vocals are fake. So good to know.
I think all of these are worth looking into. You
Yeah.
type them into your search engine, you'll probably find a lot of them.
The Jim Morrison documentary.
Streaming sites and on YouTube. I think they're very fascinating.
It's Before the End. Searching for Jim Morrison is the other documentary that you should probably check out as far as the conspiracy about Jim Morrison.
It's been a fun time talking about it.
It has. I didn't know there were this many conspiracy theories, but there are.
I think we could look, and the more we look, the more entertaining and wild they're going to get.
Yeah, and down the rabbit hole we'd go.
We'd go down a rabbit hole researching conspiracy.
Yeah.
All these conspiracy theories. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, it's been a good time.
It has. Check out those documentaries. See if you question everything, but take it with a grain of salt as well. Take it for entertainment.
Yes, think for yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, especially because most of this stuff is bunk.
Yeah, most of it is bunk. Well, you're on the radio.
I am on the radio. You can check me out at monkeyboyradio.com. I do a show on Saturday nights with Shep called Real Rock Nights. It's a top 20 countdown of the active rock charts, the SMR charts. And then on Sunday morning, we have the Dad Rock, which is new rock from classic artists. This week should have music from Sweet, Styx, Alice Cooper, Sammy Hagar, Joe Satriani, Green Day, Buck Cherry, Counting Crows, Linkin Park, Giant, Chevelle, Faster Pussycat, and more.
All right.
And then the Underground is Sunday nights at 10, which features the new music from, or not new music, but some of it's new. But local, regional, and national up-and-coming artists.
All right.
MonkeyBoyRadio.com. There you go.
Very good.
All right.
I'm Ziggy.
Yeah, I'm Monkey Boy. Thanks for listening.